Now we're going to talk about one of my favorite sports, and it's actually softball, because my daughter wants to play softball, so I'm really looking forward to that this year. And Coach, can you tell us a little bit about the softball program?
Yeah, last season we finished with a 9-10 record. We finished third in the conference, and so we're looking to build on that this year. We've got our pitcher and catcher coming back, but we also lost 6 seniors, so it'll be some huge holes that maybe your daughter could fill in the infield and outfield this upcoming year.
Now, of the 6 seniors that you lost, are any of them going to college to play softball at all?
We have 2 or 3 who are at schools that do have softball tryouts coming up. There's been talk that they might try out, so we'll kind of have to see how that goes.
And when does softball season kick off?
For us, it starts in February, middle of February.
The middle of February. Boy, where we're from, it was still snowing in the middle of February, so to hear that softball's playing in February is still kind of new to me. So you ended up 9-10 last year, and you were able to make the playoffs. Tell us a little bit about the conference play and the conferences, how they're set up.
We have a pretty competitive conference. We have East Duplin and North Brunswick who are at the top of it, and then a lot of teams that are pretty evenly spread between us and Southwest and Dixon, and so it made for some good competition last year. And then the top 3 teams typically go to states. They have adjusted that state playoff decision making for this upcoming year, so it'll be a little different.
What is the farthest game that you have to travel to normally?
Last year was our playoff game. We went up to Currituck High School, so that was a good little trip. Other than that, we typically stay between Wilmington and Havelock.
How long have you been the head coach for the softball program?
This will be my 2nd season.
And before the show, we talked a little bit about JV. Do you see that in the future at all?
We'd love to get a JV program started at Northside. Last season, being the only coach, there wasn't enough players or enough staff for that to happen, but we are looking to build that either this year or the next.
And are there any camps or anything that you would recommend for a young lady that's looking to maybe get into softball if they're not already, or one that's just trying to develop their skills?
We sent a couple girls to Campbell University last summer. They run a great camp. We've also had players in the past go to Liberty and NC State, so there are some good softball programs down here in the East.
And how many home games do you play a year?
Typically 9 or 10.
So you play half the games pretty much are played at home. And the playoffs, they're all single elimination for softball?
They are.
And who's all in your conference?
We have East Duplin, North Brunswick, Southwest, Dixon, and just one other opponent.
Are there any other JV girls softball teams in the county?
East Duplin has a really great JV program, and so that shows you, being the top of the conference, that's where you want to get to. You want to get where you're developing players or having more of an opportunity to play, and that's what the JV program allows.
Sure. Tell us about some of the challenges that you face on a yearly basis. Well, this being your 2nd year, some of the challenges maybe that carry over from last year into this year.
We obviously have the challenge of turnover. Lacrosse and other female sports, soccer, are up and coming, especially in this area. There's also the challenge of kids that are moving. We've had 2 players just from last season and this season that have moved and will no longer be with us. And obviously just the challenge of academics and other commitments that players and students have.
Coach, how is your feeder system for the softball program? What does that look like? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
We have a couple different middle schools that feed into our high school, specifically Jacksonville Commons and Newbridge, and they both have softball programs. I haven't had time to really get to know those coaches and spend a lot of time at the middle school yet, but I do have 2 or 3 already that I've been talking to that have come from those schools this year and are freshmen interested in playing.
And Coach, we appreciate you coming on the show with us today. And again, it's not often that we get to talk to a coach about multiple sports, so we're glad we've had the chance to talk to you about that. One of the important aspects of our conversation today, of course, is the opportunity to be able to go all the way across state to be involved in this great cause. And if you could, one more time, please share with us the details of what's coming up on the other side of the state.
So November 26th, our basketball program will leave and head to UNC Asheville. We're playing in the Coaches vs. Cancer game. There's only 4 teams in the state playing in it, and we're fortunate to be one of those. Our goal is to raise at least $1,000 for cancer and cancer research. We've started that fundraising, but obviously we have a good ways to go, so we'd appreciate any support with that.
Where can they call or where can they make donations to?
You can make the checks out to Northside High School, and then we will take one large check make it out to the cancer fund when we get to that time.